Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Isaac Wolf, and joining me today is my good friend and co-host, Agent NC. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well, man. It's just been really fun time catching up on Spy Family because I was behind, but I'm glad to be caught up. It's a great show.
Do you know what the spies do when they're catching a cold?
I can't figure this one out. So shoot, what do they do when they're catching a cold?
Do you know, Brandon?
I don't. I have
They
no
go
idea.
undercover.
Uh,
It's so simple. I'm bad at myself for not figuring that one out, but I didn't want to make the show run too long. So
How's it going, Brandon?
Lloyd
going
Man's
good.
arch nemesis.
Lloydomans. Yes, I'm very excited. This show keeps winning my heart every single time I watch it.
Yeah.
Hello,
I-
hello, anxiety, my old friend.
yeah. I mean, it's a very heartfelt show with a lot of good comedies and all that kind of yes.
Yep, true. Oh boy.
I had to. I had to.
It was so
Uh,
fast, I didn't even see what it was, but it's probably better that way.
Okay, I can bring that one up again if you want.
And I knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, when Isaac's in charge, the man likes to prep as many memes and puns as possible. So.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I
Yeah.
don't think. I don't think it's 100% only when he's in charge.
Not 100%.
Before you know, do you know how you spy on Chrome,
How?
Mike? Do you know?
Can we just get on with the show, please?
You keep tabs on it.
Ay, 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 ay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Before we continue, well, here we go, Mike.
Nalimo. Yes, ma'am. Anyway,
Yeah.
episode
Anyway.
4.
It's the Elegance Prestige School interview where we get interviewed to introduce to one of my favorite characters in the anime. Which, well, there's a reason why I said elegance in our previous episode,
Elegance.
and I have to ask you guys before I'm going to, well, my part, since you guys don't read the manga, sites, unlike me. So let's start with you, Mike. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was really great. It's just a fantastic set of world building and kind of going out and seeing how society functions in this universe. Because up until this point, and I know it was only 3 episodes, but up to that point, we're really establishing Anya, Lloyd, and Yor. And so getting to see what the rest of society, apart from them, is like and how they have to prepare for this interview and how everything's going to go down at this interview, I thought was really interesting. So I had a great time with it.
And what about you, Bram?
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it because I don't know. I love the characters, but I also love how them trying to be normal doesn't always has their internal real personalities lurking in the middle of everything, because it is very, very, very spy heavy. The fact that they have multiple changes of clothes ready, like all those little things were just great. I mean, they were
Where
great.
did your change in public? That's what I want to know.
Well, the first thing is we know she's skilled, so that's. But I love how crazy the world is, and I think what I like also about this episode more than anything is that this is the first view into the fact that this world is filled of crazy characters. Like, it's not just the 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of characters are like very over the top, very interesting.
Oh my god!
Elegance.
Yes, they're all exactly. And I don't know. It was a great introduction to this new location that we know is going to be a big location moving forward. And I keep falling in love with these characters. One of the things that I wanted to mention is I like how the the one of the main things of the show is to always highlight the dual identities of all three of the main characters. And I enjoy that a lot because you always have the version of these characters that they know amongst themselves. Lloyd sees Anya, and but treats them like a husband and treats a wife and a daughter, but we know that he sees them differently in his internal monologue. So Anya acts a certain way, but also listens to the thoughts of Lloyd and Yor, and then Yor acts a certain way, but the assassin comes out from time to time. So I like the fact that these are not just three characters; it's six characters all the time, and I find that dynamic so interesting. And I don't know. I love the fact that they keep finding ways for them to play dumb with each other to not figure out what's going on because I find that these characters are so naive, so brilliant, but so naive with each other. But it works for comedy in a good way. You know how and it's so funny because this can so easily go sideways. There's so many ways.
Exactly.
There is so many ways where this cannot work.
Yeah.
Like, but they found the niche. They found the hook. They found a way, and the way is comedy. They played it for laughs. Because if you think about it, if they would have made this extra serious, I don't think it would have worked. But the fact that they're playing it for the comedy and for the cute and the kawaii and all that stuff, it's just making it so cool. And later on, I want to talk about the intro because I've been analyzing the intro to death for a while. But okay, this episode was great. Cool. Go.
Yeah. For me, the thing I was anticipated most, well, it was honestly the housemaster because this is a character that you can either is either a hit or miss, and to some extent not that easy, depending on the story, how to adapt, because you can see that this is a person that truly cares about people in his own eccentric fashion
In his own
and
elegant way.
in his own elegant way. And
Elegance.
And the more you get into the manga, the more you two will understand why he is one of my most favorite character in this manga. But that's more about that later. And I don't know what your thought was, but I just, even in the manga, I just laughed out loud when you see the animals just backing away after Yor taking down the leader of the stampede,
Yes.
and Lloyd and Anya is just looking, and this is just one of the, how should I put it? This is just one of the many times.
Well done.
Had to do it to him.
Yes, that was just perfect, brother.
Yes.
And I just how should I put it? As someone that is one of the world's best spies, you would think that he would realize that she's not some ordinary social worker by then, because acting doing feats like that isn't normal.
True. And
But also, I do the whole thing about Anya going there and just saying that everything will be okay. Honestly, it's such an adorable little scene that you can't just do anything but aww.
have you guys noticed how much detail they're paying to every detail, to every aspect of the show, that even when you read the English translation, you read the baby talk from Anya.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
that so adorable because of course it's in Japanese, so you can't really hear the baby talk. But when the fact that she's talking and she's doing the cute stuff and like,
Waka
oh
waka.
yes, 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 yes,
Ooting.
yes, ooting
Yeah.
peanuts.
And
She loves peanuts.
can we all agree that a certain principle is one of the worst, one of the biggest villain of all time currently?
Well,
That jerk, man. Like that.
yes,
I wanted
Murdoch.
Lloyd to punch him so bad. And I'm glad
but
he didn't, but he really should have.
but I love,
And
but I kind of feel,
man,
but then it also makes it perfect when the headmaster punches him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I was going to go there, but well, it just it's it's stuff it's stuff like just yeah, how should I put it? I don't know what you guys saw, but when she said a perfect 100 points, they are lots of fun and I love them. I won't be with them forever. With their faces, I do just looking at it and wonder maybe we're more than just a fake family after all. If you get what I mean, and the fact that they and especially with how they react afterwards when they realize how sad Anya is becoming. Well, both of them is becoming rather animalistic, and I just love the fact that he breaks the table to get his frustration out, but his explanation is that he killed a mosquito, which
Yeah,
I
it's
just so over the top that I can't do anything but love it.
Go, Mike.
But
I
then again, we also have the housemaster punching him in the face in the most elegant way.
elegance. Yeah. It's one of those things though, right?
Elegance.
It's going to be a running joke from here on out. But it's one of those
Forever.
things you mentioned, Isaac, that I feel like it's anime taking advantage of its medium, right?
Yeah.
Because you, like Brandon said earlier, you can't play this serious. You have to play it for laughs. But also, like in the time, this is episode 4 we're talking about right now. In these 4 episodes, and remember, Yor wasn't even in episode 1. In this small batch of episodes, they were able to establish that they are becoming a family. And it doesn't feel like it's happening too fast. It doesn't feel like it's unrealistic.
Yep.
These over the top, larger than life characters were able to come together because that's how strong the writing is. But also, anime isn't the same as live action, so you're a little more forgiving. And so it's just taking advantage of that, and it's all clicking into place, and it's all firing. It's firing on all
Yeah,
cylinders, like Brandon was saying earlier, and I think that's great, and that's why this episode works because you see that emotion, you see the reaction. It's like, yeah, they're 100% a family at this point. 4
yeah,
episodes in.
and I think you pretty much nail it on the head. But because well, why the whole if you look at on it on paper, it could be something live action. If this wasn't an manga or anime, that is. And knowing what the source material is now, this wouldn't work in live action. It would be a completely different thing.
It's funny you say that, but you know what this makes me think also is do you guys heard of the popular British TV show The Avengers?
Yes, I even seen the movie with Sean Connery. What do you want to go with this?
So for example, that's one of those things like because that is not necessarily like a serious show, but it's interesting. I like, but it plays to the comedy of the spy stuff too. But the reason I say this is because I don't know why I say that, but I thought about it. But to the point that you were making, Mike and Isaac, I also think there's another layer here that I think is what makes these characters work together. Is the fact that because the premise is that they're supposed to be a fake family, as their need for companionship oozes out throughout their personal realizations of the situations, you can kind of see the family forming. So that's why it doesn't feel rushed, because from the get-go, we're being led through the proposed false pretense that they're not supposed to be a family at all. It's all an act. But because these are three characters that long for family, that long for connection. For example, in she's thinking about social acceptance, but she's also been isolated all her life because of her real job. Anya is an orphan, and Lloyd is also an orphan that we know of, in my understanding, but he's been fighting for the world to be safe, but he's never been in touch with the people that he's fighting for. So these are people that have always, in a way, yearned for longing, and being in this fake family, we see those innermost desires kind of like mesh together. So those moments which is what I love about that interview scene where Anya's crying, yours real emotion starts to come out and her real personality comes out, and on point, because
And
she
the
looks
same goes for Lloyd.
right, which is funny because I was going to mention that, because when you see Yor, she becomes animalistic because she's an assassin. She's going for the kill. But when it goes for Lloyd, he is methodical and precise. Because how the hell did he kill the mosquito? Because which shows the differences in the characters. But I like how, because of how they're built with this inner longingness, I like how being together is showing us how their dual identities are starting to mesh without them knowing, and I really want to see how that continues to flourish for the show. It's just great.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about this chapter?
No, I think we got everything about this episode out of the way. I think it's time to move on to episode 5, right?
Yeah, and that is, will they pass or will they fail? Like the previous episode, I want to go through you guys before I put it on. And well, since Mike started for the previous episode, Brandon, your cue.
It was great. It was great because, again, more respect to that great, elegant housemaster. But I like the fact how
Whose name is Henry Henderson, by the way.
very elegant.
Elegance.
Elegance. I don't know. It was. I think this was the most simplest of episodes, I would say. Like, this is one of those episodes that it was just a good time to watch. Nothing out of the ordinary happens. It's interesting that we do find out.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Well,
happened.
I'm gonna go.
Nothing out of the ordinary happened.
Lloydaman.
Nothing out of the ordinary happened. Are you serious, buddy?
I can feel the sarcasm.
Well,
what eye roll from Isaac.
Here's what I'm gonna say. It is an over-the-top day for Anya. They're all celebrating. He rents a castle. I get it. It's crazy. It's super awesome. But to me, it's like if
Not out of the ordinary.
okay. I'm done talking.
Continue.
No,
Please continue.
like to me, between the 3 episodes that we're covering, this is probably the least surprising of the episodes. But I like how it plays into the whole spy thing, because it's kind of making fun of all the stuff that spies have unlimited resources. So it's kind of playing into that, while also playing into the fact that Lloyd doesn't know what it is to have a child, which is, I don't know, it's just great. And of course, Yor's drunk throughout the whole episode, which is, I don't know, it's funny and weird.
It's interesting how we kind of plotted this episode, because this was an idea, and I hate that I didn't mention it in the last episode, because now it's gonna be like, yeah, of course, Mike, duh. But I was wondering, like, the season, or at least a season, is gonna have to be Yor is gonna have to fight Lloyd, right? Like, she's gonna be assigned to kill the spy.
No
And
comment.
Like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing.
kind of. And
Yeah.
so, and Isaac, you saying no comment makes things way worse. It would have been better if you just didn't comment. But I feel like that's where this show has to go. And they kind of teased a fight between them in this episode. I'm like, that's not how I expected this fight to end up happening, but I'll take it. It's fun.
I love how Yor goes to kick Lloyd, but because she's so drunk, she falls down and ends up sleeping.
Like maybe I'm misremembering, but did her heel snap? Like
Yeah, her heel.
and
Yes, her heel snapped. She fell down
that was it.
and just didn't get back up. But I love him becoming Lloyd Man. That was just so awesome. And by the way, kudos to Lloyd's. I don't know his equivalent of Q. I don't know that guy's that character's name, but Bushy Head or whatever Anya calls him.
Yeah, we'll just call him Bushy Head.
He's such a I don't know. I think he's such a cool character. I like whenever he's around because he's bringing something else to the mix. He kind of reminds me of Rob Schneider and Big Daddy. He kind of brings like that weird energy wherever Anya treats him like a pet, kind of, which I find
Frankie
hilarious.
Franklin is his name,
and that's a code name, right? Agent F.
No comment.
Elegant. But yeah, that episode was fun. I like how all the spies are like melting over. Like apparently Twilight is a celebrity.
Yeah, the best spy they have.
I mean, they state pretty much that he is the best spy they have. So he is sort of like it's kind of obvious that he is a celebrity within the agency.
The agency, yeah.
And the fact that they all went along with it just because it was Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also, I was about to mention that this is was the moment that George should have questioned it, but then, well, she was super drunk, and I don't know if you really thought about it, but outside of their battle, she never let go of that bottle.
No, not I. Apparently, Yor likes to drink. That's what we found out.
Yeah, that was such a weird moment to me, because it's like that came out of nowhere, and that's just the episode now. She's never gonna put the bottle down. Okay.
But it makes me think. I don't know. Could it be something part of her character arc moving forward? Or
no comment.
No comment.
Right. No, but at the same time, there's always that one character that in anime in general, there's always that one character that drinks too much. Like it's like a typical trope. I think we've seen it enough. And I like the fact, again, I really enjoy how the show continuously uses smart comedy, sometimes even slapstick, especially with characters. I love how they use the slapstick to make other characters look lame, but Lloyd never looks lame. Yor never looks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because you know how you can use slapstick to make the main characters kind of like lose their like elite status, kind of, right? But I like that they use slapstick to enhance them with every other character on screen, which I find that to be something very brilliant and a great choice.
And I have to say, it's just, how should I put it? At the beginning, when they realized that she isn't accepted at the beginning, going back to the beginning of the episode, it just shows that Henderson, while he comes off at the beginning as, well, a bit orthodox, all that jazz, as an orthodox headmaster and all that jazz. We, the fact that he goes out of the way and show them the waiting list, and he was the one that, in his old the way, scored them high because he saved them from a mosquito. Um, he didn't really care that your was quote unquote his second wife and not the biology teacher. Biological teacher, biological mother. It was the essence of their characters that he was thinking about. And that's honestly that's honestly something that I think is fitting for a character like that. In regards to, how should I put it? It puts some more perspective and respect to that character in a very quick session. Because at first you might just think he's a orthodox goofball that only thinks about elegance, but when you really think about it, he's more than just that. He thinks about a person's in what their abilities, not their upbringing, really.
True.
And you can be someone poor, but if you have the manners and elegance and all that, yes, that fits there. He is more likely to be beneficial for it, which is one of the reasons why he. I think he's such a good character, and also can we all laugh about how the first thing Jor is thinking of when she hears that they need someone that there's only one spot open in order to have Anya getting into the school, and the first thing he's thinking of is an imaginary person she has to kill just to get the spot open.
It is such a great scene. It might be my favorite scene from the entire episode because it's just so funny. It's just like, of course, like a part of me was like, "Is you're gonna have to kill somebody to get Anya in this school?" And as soon as I thought that scene happened, I'm like, "You're good, guys. You got me."
Yes.
I wasn't sure that was a dream sequence at first, and so they really got me.
Yeah.
It was great.
And I have to say that it's the whole ending scene with her thanking Anya thanking Lloyd about having so much fun and all that. Yes, it's another scene that just show and prove that they are really becoming a family, which is just such a wholesome moment in this whole insanity that's going on.
Yeah.
But do you have anything more to talk about this episode before we go to the last one?
I want to mention that one of the biggest tropes of anime, and a lot of shows in general, but I think there's one of the biggest tropes that anime exploits, and it does it so well, is the idea of found family, or like the family that one creates with others, right? The idea of forming a family beyond blood, beyond relation, and that is something that you see in so many animes, right?
Fast and Furious is my favorite anime. He.
You don't hold family hostage. So, I had to. But I love how this is their version of that, right? The fact that, and the interesting thing is that they don't know that they found a family within each other, but we can see that. And I like that. I like that interpretation of that particular trope, which is great. Which is one of those things where you kind of think about the key is not to reinvent the wheel. is how do you make the wheel unique for this take? You know what I mean? Like a lot of people like want to be like super 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 fancy about something, but sometimes there's a trope that works, and it'll work even more if you find a way to adjust it. And I love the way they're doing it here, and it's great.
Yeah, totally.
Mike?
Oh yeah, regarding episode 5, I don't have anything else to add. I do just want to piggyback off what Brandon just said though about not reinventing the wheel, and I just think it's really funny how two of my favorite anime from this year have the most basic premise ever. Boy meets girl who likes cosplay, and then spy and assassin get thrown together with the telepathic child. And it's like those two ideas are so wacky and goofy,
Yes.
but they
Yes.
created the people behind the stories, the manga, and then the animation teams just elevated even more. That's what I love about the genre, right? That's what we love about animation. That's what we love about anime. It's just beautiful seeing it all coming together, especially for Wit Studio, because I have a beef with them over Bubble, but this series is fantastic.
100%.
Yeah. Well, then we go to the next one, which is the friendship scheme. Well, since Brandon started with the previous episode, well, back to you, Mike.
Here's a plot twist. Why don't you take this episode, Isaac?
Okay, yeah, I just joined since
I
well,
can just see Anya staring at you.
Okay, well, I was just thinking since I'm reading the manga and you guys aren't that I should take it to last, but sure, I can start with this one, and I will just what? What did
I
you
didn't say-
laugh about?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh boy.
Okay.
what
That
can I have to say that the whole when they start when they are in the clothes shop, and the lady is talking about the bullying and discrimination and kidnapping, and just face and reaction to it, and just poor
Priceless. Yes.
Poor
And then
kid.
it happens.
We are not-
the kidnapping was so funny. I'm going to be. It's
And,
terrible, but it's just like, wow. Of course, that's what happens to poor Anya.
Yes. Yes.
And can we also say that it's just so okay? How do you see the shipper in that steak, if I might ask? Because
The cipher, yeah, again, it's Lloydaman.
it's just so I can understand the coin in the earlier episode. I can understand the newspaper, but the steak? Question mark.
I like how he's like, "This is my least favorite form of communication." This is like, yeah, that's a bit weird.
It makes me think. With this now, it makes me feel like the spy angle for this show, at least so far, or at least, yeah, like when you looking back, it has a lot of Get Smart vibes. You know what I mean?
More
Yeah.
Get Smart, less Mission Impossible or Bond.
Which is great. Which is just so because
It
it's
leads
funny.
to the comedy. Yeah.
Exactly, because especially when Lloyd is not playing the Get Smart spy, he's playing a James Bond type to a degree, you know. But he is stuck in the Get Smart world, so he kind of like plays it off, being naive. But again, my favorite two scenes in this episode is "Hello, anxiety, my old friend." When he's analyzing everything and like he's no longer calm and collected because everything's going on. But my favorite scene is one very specific scene. So Lloyd
I
gets
wasn't done, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I got excited. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wow.
what a wow! What do you mean? What
Go,
do you
Isaac.
mean by that?
No, go
Isaac,
ahead.
we're waiting on you,
Yeah,
man.
well, I was also thinking about his handler when we goes down to that one, the meeting her, and the first reaction is talking about the expenses from the last episode, and he is about that. I have some more
Yep. Yep. He don't
expenses.
care. Yep. Talking
and
like a true government servant.
and well, also when we are at it, you talked about the kidnapping scene, and there's actually something that goes back to honestly something that people are talking about in the. I know that people are talking about how funny that they scare Yori scaring the kidnappers the living crap out of them, and rightfully so, as her quote unquote her should I say adoptive mother in this regard. That's
Well,
the
stepmom. Stepmom. That's
stepmom,
yeah, that's the proper
stepmom,
term.
and but I don't do think don't there is I think the most proper scene, or should I say the most impactful scene of it all, is when the kidnappers is going away, when she says, "Are you okay? I'm so sorry, and we need to talk about it all and that." And she thinks of herself as a terrible mother because she that happened, and Anya goes there and just say right from, "I love my strong, cool mama,"
That was awesome.
and it just and then later on, just she, "I want to be like you, mama," and then but I do my best with what I got, and that's actually a really. I think that's a really powerful scene. Honestly, it's simplistic but powerful. But yeah, I'm done. Uh,
Awesome. That's awesome.
well, it was Mike's turn, but shall we let it go to Brandon since you were on the spot? What do you say, Mike?
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon. What you got?
Spots. Um, but no, that was a very touching scene, and I love the fact that we find time to explore the interpersonal relationships of all individual characters in different settings.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that I think this is the first time we get Yor and Anya on their own,
Yep.
right? So and it was great. And I love the fact that these characters work together so well, and I like the fact that they're coming together in that way, because you got to think about it to a degree. Is them with Lloyd, Lloyd with them, but it's them with Lloyd more than anything. So I like that situation and that thing. Now that was a great moment. The whole thing that she's training, Anya is training with Yor. That is just awesome. Um, and
She
it
can throw a
leads.
punch too, can't she?
Yes, and I love that. I love that. That's just great. I love that so much. Um, now, the whole thing about in the graduation when she's walking like a robot because she's trying to be serious, and like she's saluting to Lloyd because he can hear his thoughts. Like all that. Ani's just the cutest character ever. Now, my favorite scene, apart from the one that Isaac's, but my funniest scene that I just bursting out laughing like an idiot is with Anya. So when Lloyd receives the call about the the uniforms being done,
Mm-hmm.
Anya gets this face and stands up from the seat and falls to the ground and just rolls. It's like this out of nowhere thing. Like she just falls down, like throws herself to the floor and just rolls down and goes and just pop, I don't know. It's the
She
cutest thing
just
ever.
pops up back. It's like, yeah, that was
Yeah,
it was so funny.
yes, it was awesome. There's so much good. I like the fact that she's gonna have her own challenges. What I liked also is the setting, the fact that she's gonna have her nemesis. I like that.
It was supposed to be the friendship scheme, though. That's what made it even better.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, the way the episode ends with the picture and like Lloyd looking like anxiety just eating him alive.
Yep.
It's just great.
And also, the reasoning she gave to Henderson of why she punched him was, of course, the most elegant
Elegance.
of you, Anna Forger.
Oh, by the way, I wasn't expecting this to go full Harry Potter towards like the middle
different
of the
houses.
episode. Yeah, that was like whoa.
Yeah, that was a lot of lore that they kind of just dumped on us. I'm like, I hope I don't have to remember this because I already forgot.
Yes, yes.
But what about you, Mike? Or are you done, Brandon?
I'm done. Yes.
I mean, I love this episode. This is the first dynamic shift we've had in the series where we did get an episode where it's Lloyd off doing his own thing and it's mainly focusing on Anya and Yor, which I thought was really, really cool because we've never seen just the two of them play off of each other. And
Just
seeing
the two of us.
right, seeing that mother-daughter dynamic kind of flourish is great, especially when you think of it from Yor's point of view. Remember, like, as far as she knows, she's the newcomer into this situation because she legitimately believes that Anya is Lloyd's biological daughter. And
Yep.
so she is taking on she's viewing this entire situation differently from Lloyd and Anya. And I think that just adds a really cool layer to her dynamic with Anya because yeah, she is stepping in, having to fill that mother role, and she's legitimately trying. Whereas Lloyd and Anya still know that they're pretending to a certain extent. And
Yes.
so that kind of peeks through with their interactions. Whereas everything Yor does is 100% earnest. And I think that's really cool seeing it bounce off of these other characters. And so seeing her reaction to Anya getting kidnapped and her destroying that gourd was such a fantastic moment. And I just really enjoyed that. I also really liked, like Brandon was saying a minute ago, the world building and setting up Anya's rivals and setting up that school, which is gonna again present new challenges and new character dynamics and new characters in general for her to bounce off of. Because what does Anya as far I love Anya, but as a character so far, she's just been very reactionary to the spy and the assassin that just entered her life.
Right.
And it's like her interacting with other children is going to be really fun to see how that goes, especially since she's basically a spy for Lloyd, right? Because he needs her to
Yes.
infiltrate the school, and she knows that, and she can read minds. That's going to be a ton of fun. Also, I think it's really cool sending her away, even if it's for an episode, to focus on Lloyd and Yor's relationship, having that dynamic. So I think this episode, again, we're only 6 episodes in, but it changes the dynamic enough to where I can't wait to see where the next 5 episodes go because they set up so many cool ideas here.
Yep.
No comment.
Yeah, I know.
Now, do we know we're getting 12 straight episodes? Do we know if this show is going to go on break at any point? Or
It's gonna, well, we're getting 2 core. So we're gonna get the first half of the season, and then the second half is gonna be, I think, in the fall. So Godspeed, everybody, when fall anime season hits.
Oh my fucking god!
Look at us being all proper with the terminology. It's gonna be 2
Are you
core.
serious? Are you saying I don't have a problem with 2 core. That one is expected. But fall.
I'm pretty sure, unless they might delay it, and I hope they
Come
don't.
on, Isaac.
It's just gonna be fun.
Do it for your.
So I expect this to be like a 25 episode season, but we're probably gonna get it in batches of 12. That's my thing.
No, that works.
Yeah.
But again, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So great.
Yeah, but do you guys have anything more to say about these episodes?
I personally don't. It's just really fun. Yeah, it's a lot to kind of parse through doing 3 episodes at a time. I'm trying to compose all my thoughts, but I think we hit all the major stuff I wanted to talk about.
Before we go, you guys want to hear my quick 5 minute dissection or less of the intro?
Oh yeah. I want to
Yeah,
hear
sure.
you
We
break that.
totally forgot that.
So very simple. So the intro, just like the intro song and the intro visuals, it's phenomenal because the intro visuals divide the viewpoint and perspective for each of the characters. So like the first part of the intro is all Lloyd. That's why it looks Persona 5-ish and
Yeah.
it looks like Spy. The middle of it is all Anya. That's why it's all cartoonish and all like hand drawn. And then it gets to a point where it all blends and then it fades to black and it goes to the action heavy undercover stuff because it's your. And it's interesting also because the beat and the way the song starts with the full on jazz, like it's I don't know, it's a type of groove or jive. I don't know what the name of it is, but it
It's
starts
very
with that
reminiscent of classic spy themes. Yeah.
exactly, and then it becomes this happy go lucky melody, which was great, and then it becomes this blown out of proportion jazz phenomenon towards the end of it. Um, it's also called Mixed Nuts, which talks about yeah, it's like there's a lot of like there was a lot of thought put through this. I may be overthinking it,
Did you
but
say mixed nuts?
that's the name of
Got him.
yeah, that's what it's called.
Talk about sounding weird off topic.
Yeah, no, but it's great. It's great.
It's
I like those dimensionalities and those layers. I'm a layered person.
Speaking of layers, like, can we just talk about the ending though, right? The ending theme. And first
Yes.
off, music fantastic, but I also like how it's all a dream for Anya. So we're seeing how she wants this family to be
Yes.
IRL, and I just
Yes.
think it's really sweet and adorable. And it gets me every single time. I never skip it.
No, and there's one particular detail of the ending theme that I enjoy. Did you notice that towards the end, when you have the three characters interacting with each other, the only parts that are not grayed out is whenever they're together holding hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the characters are grayed out, but as they connect, they bring color to their lives. Oh my god!
It's adorable.
Elegant!
So elegant. I want to share one quick thing with you guys right quick. Fall 2022. Spy
Oh
film.
my fucking god! Why fall of every?
Well, here's the funny
yeah.
thing though. If there was ever going to be another fall contender to headline, Spy Family's the show.
Yes, just for people's reference of what why my reaction. In fall, we have Bleach, Chainsaw Man, more My Hero Academia, and Mob Psycho 100, and now Spy X Family.
You know what's cool about all this? It shows you how smart Mappa is. Because part 3 of Attack on Titan is going to start all on its own at the beginning of 2023.
Thank God for that. Or should I say thank Naga?
Thank Emir.
Losing.
This is awesome, guys. Should we wrap up?
We are truly needing to schedule in fall soon.
Yeah.
We're an anime podcast. We're just having fun, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
There's so many shows to watch and enjoy. It's a blast. It's a good problem to have.
Yes.
Agreed. But anyway, Mike, where can people find Agent NC? Where can people find you?
Yeah,
Because I assume we don't have anything more to say.
Yeah, it's been fun. I can't wait to do this. Next time we cover Spy Family. You can find me at Novice Cinephile on YouTube at youtube.com/Novice Cinephile. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at The Novice Cinephile, TikTok at Novice Cinephile, and you can check out my written work on collider.com. I just did a crap ton of Doctor Strange stuff over there. So make sure you check that out. And I'm going to pitch a Spy Family article for Collider. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Got to get approved, though, so it might not happen. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
I mean, you know where you can post it elsewhere if they don't want it.
Yeah, noviceinophile.com. You can find all my work there too.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Well, but anyway, Brandon, what about you?
They can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, and at the Scarlet Fan 52 on TikTok. Even though I have no idea what we're doing there, you can also find us from time to time at the Shatter After podcast, where we talk movies and series that we enjoy, love, and love to analyze to death. Part of the Novice Cinephile Network. Check us out, the Shatter After.
Yeah, and you can find my work over at Woodman Entertainment, and you can find me over at the at Emblemaniac on Twitter.
Nice.
Toy.
Well, with that said, have it awesome, guys, gals, and everything. Yeah, have it awesome, everyone.
Elegance.
Elegance.